And your daily rundown on Channel 7. Now on this show we get comedians, musicians, academics, community leaders and utter trouble causers. So which one are you? If you want to get involved with this show and have your voice heard, send us a tweet at The Daily Rundown or email us dailyrundown@thatstv.com to register your interest at becoming a guest. You could have your something to say. Ian Pattinson, what is your something to say tonight?
I really wish I'd thought of something a bit happier, considering
Oh, God.
This has been a happy show. It's always a happy show.
We've solved many problems,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's been quite as upbeat as it could have been.
Okay.
My problem is with the language used around the media's reporting of traffic accidents, specifically ones involving cyclists. I know I'm biased, I am a cyclist. You will hear reports of when there's been an accident involving a car, a driver and a cyclist. You will hear that the phrase that crops up quite most often in the local news reports is the cyclist was in collision with the car. Now, I've ridden my bike into a car. I walked away and so did the car. If somebody's gone to hospital, the car has driven into the cyclist. It's not the other way around. So I'm a bit annoyed at all these news reports that make it sound like it was the cyclist who actively hit the car, rather than, as we all know, the other way around. And also, the thing is, it's a cyclist being hit by a car. It's not a cyclist being hit by a driver, because unless they're in a Tesla, it's not the car's fault. The car did not magically run into the cyclist.
It's the driver being
the driver missed something, turned left without looking in his mirror, swerved into the cycle lane, pulled out too soon, whatever. It was the driver that hit the cyclist, not the car. The car was just the thing wrapped around the driver when he hit the cyclist. And it's just that the language used makes the cyclists seem less human almost. Like they're not meant to be there. They're the ones at fault. They're these little squishy things that shouldn't be on the road. Same with pedestrians, I guess.
And that reminds me as well, I think it's like Key Stage 3 maths. If the bicycle is going at 10 miles an hour and the car's going at 30 miles an hour, the collision's 40 miles an hour. Is that how it works?
It doesn't matter. If the car's going at 10 miles per hour, it's got a hell of a lot more kinetic energy than the cyclist going at 10 miles per hour. And the cyclist is not wrapped in metal and bumpers and airbags and all of that stuff.
When you cycle around, are you one of these people with like a camera, like a little GoPro?
If I could afford one, I'd have a camera. Because the stuff you see, I mean, it's not just stupid driving. Sometimes it's just hilariously stupid driving.
See, I'm not a driver, and it's in everyone's best interest that it remains that way.
You're a passenger.
Oh, well, I'm a pedestrian, but when I'm in cars, people drive me around. I get driven. Yeah, like Miss Daisy.
Of course.
Yeah. And
as befits your station.
Indeed, an old wreck. But I am always surprised at how motorists hate cyclists. And you're probably not going to like this, I don't think cyclists like pedestrians, because when you're going to cross a road, green man, the cars all stop, cyclists don't. It's very...
Not always true.
It happens a lot in this city, and I'm quite happy if I can get a good, shove in to knock them over, because you're quite happy to run me over, You're just like some old lady with a bag, you ruffian, and sort of like wallop them on the back of the bike. Because you should stop the same time as drivers do, and a lot of cyclists just keep going.
And what happens when traffic is so bad, then the cyclist bunny hops onto the pavement?
Cyclists on pavements, that drives me mad as well.
Drives me mad too.
You're supposed to be on the road. But yeah, I mean, I'm not, it's not everybody, and it's definitely not you, but cyclists are also annoying. They're not blameless in this whole...
Pedestrians are annoying.
Oh my...
The number of times I've nearly run over pedestrians who've stepped out without looking.
Do you know what this is like? Do you remember that old sketch on the Frost Report where you had Cleese, Corbett...
I'm lower class, I love it.
Yes,
everyone thinks they have a right to the road and to the pavement, no matter what.
I'm a driver and I pay road tax. I'm a cyclist and I don't pay road tax, but hey, I'm going to cycle anyway. I'm a pedestrian and I get both of you coming onto pavement.
I'm a smart ass and I'm going to point out road tax doesn't exist.
I tell you who we all
Road tax
hate.
does not exist. Vehicle excise duty exists.
Oh.
Vehicle excise duty is not paid by all cars either. So you're not paying for the right to use the road, you're paying for the damage done by your car.
There's something though that pedestrians, cyclists and motorists all hate. Skateboarders. My God, the paving stones in this city are like seesaws now because of them just like thudding down and thinking that they actually own the entire centre of the city.
But skateboards at least are on 4 wheels, and 4 wheels good.
No, all the time. Most of the time they're in
2 wheels
mid-air
bad.
when they're trying to do like a wheelie off a park bench or something.
No, they're probably trying to do an ollie off a park bench. Wheelies are bicycles.
It is funny when they don't make it though.
Yeah, it's called it's called a
isn't it?
manual when you do it on a skateboard, apparently.
Yeah. What I
I
like,
played Tony Hawk's.
I like the fact that you've picked up the language used, because it is always a bicycle has been in collision with a car, not a cyclist, not a person. And
Well, it's usually a cyclist in collision with a car.
that's the thing. It's normally just seen as these two vehicles, when what normally happens, because on a bicycle you just open to the elements and open to the world, they will end up a hell of a lot worse than even the bicycle, the car or the driver in their cocoon of safety. I used to be on the radio and have to do travel reports, and the language that you use has got to be so careful and imprecise. So when people say on the radio on a traffic report, a bicycle has been in contact with a car, it's because you can't assume any blame upon anybody. It's like nowadays you have to say road traffic incidents rather than road traffic accidents. I used to get into trouble because I used to change travel reports and say a lorry has fallen over. And I got told that is not the serious aspect of what is happening on the roads. So could you please say there's been a road incident with a truck and another vehicle, rather than a lorry has fallen over. They didn't like that. And that's the thing, you can't use accusatory language when you're doing
But that's
traffic
what I'm
reports.
saying. It sounds like it's making it out that the cyclist was the one that actively hit the other vehicle.
Yeah, it could happen.
It
in some
could,
instances.
if they could go that the car and cyclist collided,
There's been a collision, yeah.
then that would be fine without passing blame immediately before, despite the fact that we know three times out of 4 it's the driver's fault. If you don't, there are ways that you can do this. It does sound like they're blaming the cyclist. They're going out of the way to make it, you know, it's maybe an attempt to make it sound balanced, but it sounds more like they're blaming the cyclist.
When it comes to traffic reports on the radio or on the TV, they have to squeeze in so much information in such a short period of time. And do you know what's really, really bad about most traffic reports? They're normally about 20 minutes too late. So if you've just been warned of problems on the M6, you're already in the queue. If a lorry has overturned, they can't say it's not a lorry driver that's overturned, it's a lorry, because it might not be the driver's fault. So they have to be, it's extremes of margins of error that they have to fit into in 60 seconds. And it's a terribly difficult job. So I'm going to stand up for people who use language like a bicycle.
Wishy-washy.
It is wishy-washy, but there's a sort of...
He's coming for you now. You hear the tinkle of the bell on the little wicker basket.
Heel!
I took the bell off.
Okay.
Bells, I'm almost a hipster like that.
You took the bell off?
Yeah.
But it's a legal requirement to have a bell on your bike.
No, it's a legal requirement for a bike to be sold with a bell.
But you can take it off?
Yes.
That's like saying...
As far as I know, I am not a lawyer.
But it's like having a legal requirement. Your car must be sold with a horn, but you can take it off if you don't.
Well, there are
like
times
it.
when you're not allowed to use the horn. Built-up areas between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. or something. There are points where you're not allowed to use the horn. So there are points where having a horn on your car is irrelevant. It's not a way of annoying people.
Entendre.
It's intended as a warning, and
If you don't have a bell,
it's rarely
people
used
know you're
properly.
coming.
I tend to not cycle on the pavement and look out where I'm going and make sure that people aren't in my way.
Do you wear T-shirts as glowing and yellow
I was
as
thinking
that?
this is probably what works. To
I've
the bell.
got waterproofs that are glowing in yellow as this, yes.
Do you wear a helmet?
Yes.
Oh, that's good then.
It's not, it's irrelevant.
I thought you were supposed to. I thought it was law.
No, it's not
No,
law.
it's not law. But I don't understand cyclists who don't wear helmets.
It's because the helmet is only there if you get into an accident. The helmet's not going to prevent the accident. A helmet is not a safety device. A helmet does not prevent accidents. It's not got a magic force field. It doesn't push cars away.
So you went
No,
to
but
helmet.
stop that your
It doesn't
injury
stop-
could be less.
Yes, it does. It means that when the driver is an idiot, you're less likely to have brain damage. It does not make you safer. Therefore,
But you know
if I want to be, if I'm going to be safer on the road, I need better designed cycle paths, better drivers who are paying attention, who are taught how to drive around other smaller and more vulnerable people, like pedestrians and cyclists.
But you're almost assuming that all drivers are going after cyclists.
I'm not, but I have to. Here's the thing. You could be a perfect driver. You get behind the wheel of a car, I can't trust you. You might hit me.
You might hit me.
Yeah, and I'll walk away and it won't be such a problem. I don't care about that.
You're not wearing a helmet, you might not walk away. You need a helmet on.
I'm wearing a helmet.
He's wearing a helmet.
What now?
Yeah, it's the special invisible one. You can get wonderful ones that wrap around your neck and just inflate like a
life jacket.
like an airbag around your head.
Excellent.
I've seen them, I don't trust them. But I have to assume that every driver is an idiot because every so often I'm right. And if I'm assuming that every driver is an idiot, I will be right the time that one is, and I will have spotted them, and I will have... The few times I've been knocked off my bike by a car, it's because I actually gave the benefit of the doubt to a driver, and they did something stupid and hit me.
I do exactly the same thing with all people on mopeds.
Okay.
Well, they're usually delivering pizzas, so they're on a time limit, so they have to be going fast and careless. So, yeah, fair dues.
Well, I will drive a little bit safer tonight, and Drew, you can just sit in the back seats and wave.
Yeah, like that. Just push skateboarders out of the way.
Right, thanks for that, Ian. Thank you for your something to say. After the break, Drew Tosh will have his soapbox moments. Are you ready?
Born ready. Born ready, Dan.
See you in about 3 minutes' time. This is the Daily Rundown.